Do you want this to be the year that you finally get your home decluttered? I want to share with you 12 tips, mindset shifts, and strategies to get your home decluttered as fast as possible this year. I recently watched a video from the Clutterbug channel, and I just wanted to share that information with you very quickly. I in no way intend to take away from her content. If you have not seen this video, I would highly recommend that you go and watch it because it has a lot of great content in it. I just wanted to share her 5 stages really quickly because it goes along with my first tip, and I think it's really helpful in getting your decluttering journey jump-started so you can do it in the fastest way possible. So stage 1 is accumulation. This is when things are starting to pile up. You may open up your drawers and your cabinets and realize that everything is starting to get pretty full. Stage 2 is disorganization. This is where it's getting a little bit hard to find things. You may have misplaced some items. Maybe you have a hard time finding your keys or your shoes, or you may have forgotten that you have the items, so you go out and repurchase them. Stage 3 is overwhelm. This is when you have so much clutter in your home that you actually have to spend hours and hours tidying up before you can actually start cleaning. This is the stage that I was in the main living areas of my home when I first started. This stage takes a lot of effort to maintain, and it can be a real struggle at times. Stage 4 is chaos. This is where I was in the basement area of my home when I first started this. When you're in this stage, it can negatively impact your relationships. Maybe you don't have time to spend with your spouse or your children. It can cause financial strain. Maybe you're spending too much money on the items, or again, having to repurchase things because everything is just lost. And it can cause some mental health struggles as well as anxiety, overwhelm, and just kind of wanting to get rid of everything. For me personally, I would go into the basement and I would be so overwhelmed and anxious. I didn't think there was ever a chance that I was going to be able to get everything back to being organized and manageable. But it is possible. This is stage 5. This is the area where you're finally ready to make the transformation and do the work that's needed to declutter your home once and for all. So this is where I was at the beginning of 2023 when I decided it was time to take control back in my home, and so I could live a peaceful and relaxing life once again. So the first tip I have is to be truthful with yourself. If you're not honest about what stage you're in or how much clutter you actually have, it's going to lead to a lot of problems down the road. When I first started, I had originally started back in 2022 around October, and I wasn't completely honest with myself. I just thought I had to get rid of a few things and then maybe organize better. If I could come up with a better organizing system, then everything would be great and I would be able to keep a tidy home and I would have less stress. But when I actually got honest with myself and realized that no, I had to get rid of a lot more than I had originally thought, I had to go back through those areas a couple of times to actually get rid of more and more stuff. That's when the true transformation happened for me, and I was able to actually get a lot more accomplished in that time. So being honest with yourself and really realizing how much you need to let go of is the first step in decluttering your home fast. Next is you need to make a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. I'm sure you've heard that before, but it is very true with everything in life, including decluttering. Whether that's pen and paper or digital, make a list, go through the areas in your home. For me, it was every drawer, every cabinet, every closet, every room in my home needed to be decluttered badly. It was getting out of control. So I had to go through, I made a list, and this made it easier and it kept me motivated as time went on. I could look around the house and say, wow, I still have all of this left to do. But if I could go back and look at that list, I could say, well, yes, I still have a lot to do, but I've accomplished this, this, and this so far, and it kept me motivated along the way. Along with that is you want to have the items that you need to actually declutter. For me, that's black trash bags, old Amazon boxes, and a couple of storage bins that I use to hold the items until I'm able to get to the donation center. Also, having a Sharpie is a great idea because when you're decluttering, you can then mark the boxes, what's left in them, so you don't have to reopen them every single time. You'll have a quick checklist on your box every time you see it, and you'll know exactly what's in that box. Later on, you can always go through and organize in a better way. But right now, it's just about getting things out of your house fast. Number 3 is be consistent. If you're not consistent, it's going to take you a lot longer to get this all done, I promise you. If you can realize that taking 15 minutes a day actually makes a huge difference. In the past, I was like a perfectionist. I thought if I didn't have a whole hour or 5 hours to spend decluttering, then I might as well not even do it. I might as well just wait for a weekend when I have time to do it. But that's really not effective. It's more effective if you can give yourself 15 minutes a day, every day. You'll be truly amazed at how much you're able to get done in such a quick period of time. I have a video where I spent 15 minutes a day for 3 or 4 days. I will link that up here somewhere. But it just shows you how much you're able to get out of your house in a quick period of time over just a few days. Imagine what you can do in a week. Another thing that you can do is if you like to time block or schedule things on your calendar, schedule that 15 minutes in. Or if you have a longer period of time, schedule that hour in that you can declutter and make it a part of your routine. And this is really going to help you stay consistent and get things done a lot quicker. You don't want to do it haphazardly and then you get burnt out like I did. I ended up just going insanely crazy for months at a time, and then I was so exhausted that I had to take 3 months off. If I had done it a little bit slower in the beginning, I think I would have been able to get everything done a lot faster as time went on. Number 4 is to keep bins around your house to put those items into. For example, my kids each have a small box in their room. If they're trying on their clothes and it doesn't fit or they don't like the item anymore, they've learned to just throw that item into the box. Every once in a while, I'll take a look in there. If it's getting full, I will put it into a bag and bring it to the donation center. This makes things a lot easier as opposed to just having the kids rehang everything, or it ends up on the floor, then you wash it, you hang it back up, and it's just this never-ending cycle. Same thing with on our front porch. It's not pretty, but we have a small area of a couple of bins there. If I'm going through the kitchen or going through an area of the house and I see a couple of items that I know I'm not going to use, I can just bring them right out there. It's done, it's out of the house, and I don't have to think about it ever again, as opposed to leaving the items in the drawer going, oh, well, when I have a few minutes to declutter, I will then get rid of those items. No, it just makes my life harder when I have to then move those items around to search what I'm actually looking for. When I'm cooking, it makes everything a lot harder to do. So having those bins available to put the items in right away will make your life so much easier. Number 5 is be ruthless. This is so important. Like I said, when I first started, I thought, well, I just have to go through and get rid of a few things. No, I wasn't being ruthless. That didn't come until a few months after I started. And then once that happened, everything changed. I was able to get rid of things a lot faster. It was a lot easier to make those quick decisions. Just know that if you're not using the item, if you haven't used it in the past, give yourself a time frame. 3 months, 6 months, some seasonal items, you'll say the last year. If you didn't use it during the Christmas season last year, maybe you're not going to use it this year. Or when you're going through your Christmas items, if you haven't used it last year, you don't want to put it out this year, get rid of it immediately. Don't even put it back into your seasonal bins. You deserve a peaceful and relaxing home that is easier to clean, gives you more time with your family, more time to relax, more time for your hobbies, whatever you want that time for. You don't have to spend all of your time cleaning, because I used to spend hours upon hours cleaning my house, which was really just putting things into a bunch of little piles because I didn't know where everything went, and it was a disaster. So you deserve a peaceful environment to live in. So be ruthless and get rid of what you don't want, need, or love. Some quick tips for that, or you could maybe try the Swedish death cleaning. I know a lot of people have had great success with that. That is where you're basically getting rid of the items so your family members don't have to take care of those items when you pass. But it does help a lot of people get rid of items a lot quicker. You could also pretend that you're moving. If you were going to move today, what would you take with you and what would you want to leave? Any of those items that you would not take with you into a new home, get rid of them immediately. And don't worry about the money that you spent. That money is already gone. It's not coming back. Just get rid of it and you don't have to think about it anymore. Number 6 is you have to change your shopping habits. Don't do all of this work to get all of these things out of your house only to keep bringing things in on a consistent basis. Yes, things are always going to come into our house. That's normal, especially if you live with other people. There's always going to be new items coming in, but really be intentional about what you're doing. For me personally, although I kept everything for many years, like a lot of the stuff was just stuff that I had kept over the years. I always thought I would have a use for it in the future. Like, well, maybe I could use this. Why would I get rid of it? Because then I can just store it. But I could never actually find any of those items, so they would have been useless to me anyways. But a big part of my problem, especially in my chaos area, which was the basement, was prepping supplies. During the pandemic, I had started to do a lot of prepping, and I was constantly in the scarcity mindset, and I spent a lot of money that I regret spending. But it felt so good to go through and just donate a lot of the items that I wasn't using and throw away some of the other stuff. Even though I knew that it maybe was still good, technically it probably still was safe to eat. I just had to give myself that permission to let it go and get it out of my house so I could focus on the items that were no longer expired and just mix those into our meal plans on a regular basis. Number 7 is, in order to stay motivated, focus on the areas that are going to have high impact for you. So if your problem is in your kitchen, all of your countertops are full, it takes a long time to cook your meals, or you don't even want to cook anymore because it's just so time consuming, focus a lot of time on your kitchen. Get your cabinets and drawers and closets cleaned out in the kitchen so you can store a lot of the items that you're using on a regular basis into those cabinets, drawers, or closets. When you have clear countertops, it makes the world of difference. I never thought that I was going to get to a point where I was able to clear off my countertops. We keep very few things on the countertops now, and it's so much easier. When I come in to cook or bake, I'm just able to do that. I don't have to clean up a bunch of stuff first. Or if your problem is maybe your closet, focus on taking care of getting rid of the clothes that don't fit you, that you don't love, and wear on a regular basis. And then getting dressed in the morning just becomes 10 times easier every day. Number 8 is to do your keepsakes last. These can be one of the hardest things to do with sentimental items, so doing that last after you've built up some of those decluttering muscles can make a world of difference. If you try to do those in the beginning, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to give up. So after you've built up some decluttering muscles, maybe spent a few months going through and really realizing the benefits of living in a decluttered home, then you can slowly start working on your sentimental items, and it'll be a lot easier for you moving forward. Number 9 is, do not try to organize or clean when you're decluttering. It takes enough bandwidth to declutter our homes. Let's not worry about organizing or cleaning at the same time. I know it's very tempting, especially for those of us who love to organize. I love having things organized. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. I love looking at it when it's organized. But taking the time to organize when you're decluttering is just a disaster waiting to happen, because what happens? You go through the area once, you get rid of some stuff, and then you go out and buy a bunch of bins or organizers to keep that area clean. And then you come back maybe a couple of weeks later and you say, well, why didn't I get rid of that? Why do I still have this? I don't need that. You get rid of a few more things and you realize you just have an extra bin that is now adding clutter to your home. Really go through and pare down everything, whether that's going through that area a couple of times until you know for sure 100% at that time you have exactly what you want and need left, and then you can spend the time organizing. If you move a bunch of stuff, yes, it could be dusty. You can vacuum or dust it really quickly, but don't spend a ton of time trying to clean because you're going to get sidetracked, and then decluttering ends up taking a lot longer. Number 10 is to make it fun. It can be lonely, stressful decluttering. So try to make fun of it. Maybe you find some different challenges that look fun to you, like a 30-day challenge where you're getting rid of 1 item per day, or again, the 15 minutes in 3 days, 60 items in 60 minutes. Find some different challenges that seem interesting to you and just give them a try. It'll just keep things interesting and keep you from getting burnt out. Number 11 is, do not try to sell everything. I know it's tempting. We spent the money. We want to sell the items to make some of our money back and to help us feel better about ourselves. But I found, especially when I had so many items, that it was impossible. If I tried to list everything, my life would have been chaotic and I never would have gotten things done. I just had to say, I spent the money and now hopefully somebody else out there will get to enjoy it, because I don't have the time and I just want this stuff gone out of my house. Some stuff went to family if they really wanted it. Other stuff just went right to the donation center. I don't care what happened to it. Hopefully somebody is getting some use out of it. But if you're further along in the journey and you have a few high ticket items that maybe you want to sell, then okay, fine. If you have some space to store those items, they're just a couple of things, you're going to make some money back. fine, but set a deadline for yourself and say, if I don't sell this within 1 week or 1 month, whatever your time limit is, then just donate it. I did that with a couple of items. I thought maybe I could sell them. I sold one thing for $25, and it took maybe an hour and a half of my time by the time I talked to her, drove there, met up with her for $25. It's really not worth it most of the time unless you have a few really high ticket items. But if you're in the beginning and you just want to get your house decluttered, just donate everything. Number 12 is think ahead for those long sessions. Yes, doing the quick 15, 20 minute, 30 minute sessions are incredible. You have to do them. Those are, I think, one of the only ways that you're going to get your home decluttered fast. But sometimes for those of us with a lot of stuff, we need those longer sessions as well. So what can you do to prepare yourself for those sessions? Maybe a week before you make some freezer meals up and then you have those ready to pop into the oven for your family so you're not worrying about making dinner that night. Maybe if you're going to do it later on in the week, you take the beginning half of the week, you make a bunch of food, make extras so you have leftovers, and then that night it's going to be leftover night. Maybe you put it into your budget that you're going to order out that night. Figure out ways to make your life easier because, again, it is overwhelming, stressful, exhausting. Mentally, physically, it is exhausting. And I was so tired. So what can you do? Can you have your family members or your spouse or your kids pick up the house a little bit more so you're not worrying about decluttering and cleaning? If you have younger kids, maybe you can have planned for a family member to come over and watch them just so you have that uninterrupted time in your day to get these things done. It will make a world of difference and you will get everything done so much faster if you don't burn yourself out trying to do everything at once like I did. You're going to get tired and you're going to be stressed out and it is going to be exhausting. But throughout the process, remember your why. Why are you doing this? What are your goals looking forward into the future? What do you want your home to look like? What do you want it to feel like when you come home from a long day of work or you're trying to relax with your family? What do you want your space to look and feel like? And remember that as you're trying to keep going, because you will get tired, but knowing your why down to the core is really going to keep you motivated to keep moving and going until it's finally done. And then you're able to just do some maintenance declutters to keep things from building up to that point ever again. Sometimes when I watch videos on YouTube, I've seen people consistently, like every year, do these massive declutters where their entire house is full every single year. That is not what I wanted for myself. I had done that for many years. I would go through and spend hours organizing or decluttering, but never really getting rid of enough to make a difference. And now when I go through and declutter, it's just a couple of items here and there. Yes, you have to always do the maintenance because, again, things are always coming into your home. I never want to have to do what I did this past year ever again. So that is really keeping me motivated to be intentional with what I bring into the house and keeping up with systems and habits to keep the house tidy and clean. So if you like this video, please subscribe. I would love to have you on the channel and I will see you in the next one. Bye.